CinePacks,
I call it the phrase that pays. You want to say what you do in a very short moment without anyone having any question. If your aim is to go for socials, shooting in horizontal is a big mistake. Someone is like handing money to a vendor to give fruit, and I'd run like right in between it, literally weaving and dodging people.
Welcome to the CinePacks Podcast. Today we're excited to have Evan Blum, also known as Dr. Clips, joining us. Evan is a renowned director specializing in short-form vertical content for musicians. Evan has worked with artists such as Flyana Boss, Glorilla, Bebe Rexha, Demi Lovato, and many more. Thanks for coming on today, Evan.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. It's actually crazy to have you back. You did do a shoot here.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so that was really cool to see you come and work your magic. What was the shoot you did here that one time?
I was shooting for a band, Magnolia Park, an alternative rock band, and yeah, I mean the space here is crazy. They have the little hospital situation going on here at CinePacks. Come scope that. They got the gynecology stirrups. You know, everything here is just ready to rock for some short form.
Yeah,
sure. So I was actually here for that Magnolia Park video for a little bit. They did like a couple music videos, and then you guys shot like a ton of just like running around, kind of like what was kind of like the concept or like the idea for that?
I'll usually do like a package of 10. So that's usually the base package that I'll offer artists. So we'll come here and we'll just try to knock out 10. So based on the section of the song and just like using all the spots and locations and just kind of getting creative and with blocking, like most of the directing is pretty simple. Like it'll be like start here, do this movement, and then move, once the beat drops from here to here. And like that will be the simple direction, but then do that your way. And like that's literally it, plus the camera movement.
Is there any like pre-planning, like pre-production treatments or anything that goes ahead of time to that, or you guys just show up to the location or just like try to freestyle or figure it out when you're there?
I kind of suck at pre-production. I can do it a little bit, but like I need a lot of caffeine and like push to do it. I really don't like shot listing. I really don't like pre-production. I don't like any of that. I'm like a little bit more of like an ADHD, ADD, whatever you want to call it, filmmaker. Just go out there and just grip it and rip it. So I call it spray and pray. So I usually overshoot a little bit. Mm-hmm. And when you're not so much in the narrative world where it's like a script and there's like, all that, and it's a lip sync, over scratch audio, you have more room to just kind of just let it be what it is. So I'll usually show up to a space and just kind of feel out the area and just simply look around, and then I'll usually get an idea for what kind of movement or where I want to place the subject, and like what I think what kind of background would pop or what kind of like blocking that should happen. So yeah, no pre-production.
So does that mean you're shooting more than 10 then, and then you guys are you like just choosing 10 out of the like a ton that you're shooting that day?
Yeah, most of the time shooting more than 10, yeah.
Gotcha.
And then just figuring out what's the best, and then just choosing that. But yeah, just directing it, just usually mostly like just on the fly, spontaneous. So pretty much almost every video that you see, if you go to my page or anything, it's all kind of mostly spontaneous work. Just showing up to a location with an artist. Sometimes we'll have pre-production calls, sometimes not. Like the music industry is anyone that works in it will tell you it's like it's kind of a clusterfuck. Like there's not like, even if someone has a more organized team, like nobody really knows what's going on, nobody knows what's happening, so you just kind of have to show up and just pray. Spray and pray.
So I know you said no pre-production, there isn't much, but when it comes to picking the song and picking the parts of the song that you're going to film clips to, because these clips are around like, what are they, like 10 to 30 seconds, I'd say?
Yeah, usually longer than 10, like between
Gotcha.
like 15 and 25 seconds is usually what I'd recommend. But if something like, really needs that 30 seconds, we'll hit that 30, but usually between 15 and 25 is what I tell people.
So what are you picking those before the shoot? Like, are you planning like a few sections of the song, or is there just like one specific sound that you're picking? How does that really work?
Yeah, like I'll basically book shoots generally off hearing like the music. And so the pre-production to me is listening to the music, and the music will generally inform every single decision or directorial movement or blocking or kind of location we pick in general. And yeah, usually picking out what audio section. So if someone hasn't figured it out at all and they're still in that experimental stage, I'd do it to all the sections, a little bit of the verse, a little bit of second verse, a little bit of chorus, a little bit of bridge, just depends on what parts sound good. But if they have a part that's already crushing on socials, we'll just like knock that out, like get 8 more of that exact part and then try to get another part of the song to go viral too.
Gotcha.
But if something's already working, like I really won't try to reinvent the wheel too much, because if it's already working, it's pretty hard to find that puzzle. And I'll just kind of go with it. But yeah, I'm generally either picking the part or usually helping to pick the part.
Gotcha. Yeah. Is there parts of songs that you feel like that you have found that maybe go more viral, or if there's just like specific things, you know, like what are some things that you've like noticed that just like kind of reoccur and you're like,
yeah, you know, I think there's some special sauce in the second verse of songs, especially. I think people sleep on the second verse because the chorus has already happened and like the song is in the midst of the story of what it's about. And when that second verse hits, it's like really like, okay, now we're really in the song. And I don't know why. I feel like people really kill it with their second verse. And then also the breakdown section after the bridge. So generally in like, I don't know, you guys do like pop song structure? You guys songwriters at all?
I know a little bit. Yeah.
Like after the bridge, it's a tendency in pop song structure to do a breakdown of the chorus section.
Yeah.
So it'd be like the chorus, but it would be a stripped down version of it. And then like, you know, like the whole band will come in, you know, after a few lines of that stripped version of the chorus. So I'll generally try to find something like along those lines where it's like a soft to loud dynamic or a loud to soft dynamic. So you see in a lot of successful clips for music, it will be that high contrast switch in the first 3 to 5 seconds where it's like a super heavy full band moment to a strip moment, or a super strip moment to a full band moment.
But how often are you actually choosing these sections, or is it like, or like the artist coming to you like, oh, this is going a little, like if this is a trending sound on TikTok or something, and like, you know?
I'm probably selecting the parts maybe like 90,
oh really
95% of the time.
So you're
got
actually
the
the
ear.
one that's kind of causing the trend for, you know, for the...
I think sometimes, yeah. I mean, it's a very, I mean, I'm very obsessed with the music industry. That's the place that I choose to be. I'm not as much in the film and TV world or anything
Sure.
like that. And so, you know, historically, you know, there'd be A&Rs that would choose singles that would be, you know, or record labels would choose the singles and what they think the public will want as the lead single. But now it's become so much more granular because it's not about the single, it's about which part of the song. It's a very extremely micro decision. And not only what part of the song, but exactly which word and which beat. So when I'm editing, I'm actually thinking about these things. Because if there's 2 kick drums that hit right before the vocal comes in, I might want to use that for a little edit point to get people's attention. Or I might want to go straight on the one of the chorus. Or there might be like a little pickup line right into the chorus. So these micro little decisions about exactly when to start and exactly how to move the camera into these sections is very, very important. And I feel like when someone's scrolling, you like, as you guys know, you guys probably make shit tons of content. Like you have 0.0 seconds to get someone's attention before they're like next. Like, so having these really kind of hitting sections or like big sweeping camera movements in the beginning of the clip, I feel like is important. And then also selecting a piece of audio that you can kind of edit to. So like if there's like 2 cool bass hits, then it gives you an opportunity as an editor to do like a sick, you know, like a camera shake, a flash, a certain effect, a certain run in or a certain run out, zoom in, a zoom out. So like I'm picking the section based on the musicality and then also based off what kind of editing moves that could be done to hook the viewer.
Sick.
yeah, it's a lot. And there's a lot
There's a
that
lot of
goes
game
into
right
it than just
There's a
you
lot of game
filming.
to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So let's take it back. I have a ton of questions, but I feel like we should kind of cover how you even got into this. So I know you kind of started, just from what I've read online and heard, you were kind of shooting music videos and you kind of transitioned to that like full-time, like freelance, taking all types of gigs, right? And then tell us a little bit about when you first started doing these batch. What, you call them something specific, vertical batch.
Yeah,
clips?
I was out one night and I was like trying to get I call it the phrase that pays, right?
Yeah.
Like where it's like you want to say what you do like in a very short moment without anyone having any questions. You'd be like, so I started telling people I specialize in making large batches of short form vertical content.
There you go.
Like literally I would just say that phrase and people would be like, oh, okay. And like I'd be like, any questions? And they'd be like, no. I'd be like, perfect.
Yeah.
Because it's just so confusing as a creative to explain what the hell you do, and everyone's so multi-hyphenate. So I started doing that. Like I made like 30 music videos, probably 30 or 40, and to not really much success or attention. Extremely hard, and it, you know, each of the edits would take, you know, weeks, months to finish it, and then the back and forth. Sometimes it wouldn't even come out, and it's just a lot of work. You need a bigger team. So the first artist I did the short form vertical for was Flyana Boss. And before that, I was trying to pitch artists I was working with to do it. I was like, hey, instead of shooting music video, do you guys want to do a batch of short form clips instead? And you guys can pay the same price, but then we can just, instead of the deliverable being one long form, we can do, 10 short form clips or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were like, what do you mean? No, like we want to let's do a music video. What are you, stupid? And I was like, okay, fine. So then when I worked at Flyana Boss, they were already making TikToks on their own in the backyard, shooting on the iPhone, just with a tripod, ring light, stuff like that. So when I first worked with them, I was like, okay, so you guys want to make like short form vertical, right? And they were like, duh. And I was like, oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I was so excited that they like didn't even fight it. And at that time, I was using a pole and a 360 camera. I was shooting on the GoPro Max 360, and I was doing some kind of angle change videos where I was like sweeping it to high, low, and I was just running through as many kind of camera techniques as I saw fit and trying to match it to their music. And so we had I had some success with our first time shooting together. We had a video that hit like 1.2 million on TikTok. And at that point, after someone has made like 40 music videos and had literally nobody watch it, I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm literally Steven Spielberg. I made it. I was like, I'm literally famous. Like, no.
So all those other artists that you pitched this to, they're probably pretty, like, did they come back to you and was like, oh, we need to do this now after they saw like the success of that, or no?
Virtually everybody is starting to understand that in the music industry. I feel like if you don't know this by now, you're kind of pretty like living under a rock, like Patrick Starr. But, because even legacy artists that are been around for 10, 12 years, like, even if music videos worked in 2009 and you're kind of a famous artist, it doesn't mean it still works now. So even bigger artists like Bebe Rexha and her team is like still realizing that even for her, who's been around forever and has had successful music videos, is still realizing that short forms can be more impactful for her. Because even if you're famous, if you got a new single, it's hard to cut through the noise, no matter how famous you are.
Yeah, there's like a million artists, and everybody's constantly releasing stuff.
Yeah.
Like every single day. So
every single day, thousands and thousands. So.
Yeah. If you're an editor, you should definitely check out CinePacks' digital assets. They have thousands of effects that you can easily drag and drop into any editor, like Final Cut, DaVinci Resolve, Premiere, After Effects, CapCut, the list goes on. And since you're listening to this podcast, use promo code POD20. You're going to get 20% off your digital asset order. And if you don't want to spend any money, check out the free samples because we have thousands of free sample effects that you can use in any project. Now back to the episode. So once that first video hit, how did things progress? Because there was a moment where you would open TikTok and it would just be your reel for like just nonstop. You would see Flyana Boss just like running. Yeah. How did this whole running trend kind of come about?
So that running thing didn't actually happen until 8 months later after I worked on them. So I actually worked with them for 8 months and made all types of content. And then we eventually landed on that concept after they came to me with that song, You Wish. And we had shot, we had just a content day like we do, and we're doing a batch. And the running idea was originally pitched by one of the members, Flyana, and she's like, yeah, we should do just a running one. And she's like, we can get you in the back of like a car or something. And I was like, no, I'll just run like on my feet. I was like, I don't need a car. I was like, there's no way you can outrun me. I'm like, I'm like low key, like a little bit quick. So we did it, and then I just did it on the gimbal and just like ran. And it's actually, I was like, this is fun. I was like, I like exercising. This is great. So we just shot one running video. So like on the first, batch on that day, like it was a folder and like it's literally called Runner. And then we posted that one, but that was of the first verse, which goes, I'm a great fuck, but a better lover. It's not the Hello Christ, I'm about to sin again part, which is the second verse. And then when we did one of that second verse in the 3rd Street Promenade, it hit like 13 million on TikTok pretty quick in like a day or two, and it was starting to get picked up by all these like hip hop publications. So at that point we knew. So I was like, I'd say, the initial idea came from Flyana, and I think she was definitely inspired by other social media trends like J-Eazy and other people that have probably run before, like The Roots and stuff like that. But, we definitely did it in our own way. And then once we saw that second verse pick up, I was like, yo, we got to hit this hard. And like, we got to do this in ridiculous locations. And they were probably a little bit more nervous to do that than I was, but man, I'm hungry. I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
And I was just so excited.
Close calls? Like, did you ever like hit anyone? Like, I see you running down like the Walk of Fame, like Times Square, squeezing through people.
I'm pretty small. I'm definitely a short king.
Yeah.
I'm like 5'5", like 125 pounds. That's like my adult weight. And like, so like I can really squeeze.
Yeah.
And I have a very small camera setup. So I never touched or hit anyone.
But you're running straight. Are you running straight, like looking forward with the camera behind you, or are you running fully backwards?
It's almost like when you back up, you're like constantly like this.
Yeah.
So I'd be constantly looking at the screen and then looking forward. So I was like kind of running half forward, like with my arm out. Yeah. And so I was like looking it's kind of like a sideways run with my arm. It's almost like I'm running straight, but with my right arm extended towards them. Sometimes I go backwards, but I wouldn't want to go backwards because that means your whole back is towards.
Yeah.
If you're going sideways, then I could squeeze through.
Okay.
So you'll see like probably the Hollywood Boulevard one. That's my favorite runner. So definitely check that one out. Like there's literally like fruit stands and stuff.
Yeah, that one's crazy.
And like we were like they had no idea that I was gonna do that. So like most of the times I wouldn't tell them where I was going. They would just have to follow whatever path I did. So if I wanted to go in between, like someone is like handing money to a vendor to give fruit, and I would just like time it. And I'd run like right in between it, and then like behind the vendors, and then back out to the main thing, and like I love dodging.
Do you have any like parkour training or anything like that?
I've always been into It's like weird. I've always been into dodging people.
Dodging people.
I've always loved going to festivals and walking fast, and like I always thought that was a fun game, like Frogger, or like when I used to snowboard, just like literally weaving and dodging people.
But imagine if you did get parkour training and then you added that on top.
Honestly, I've watched a lot of parkour videos. I always stop. I'm like, oh yeah, I love it. I feel like I get injured at this point, but I do love parkour.
Yeah.
I could see myself in another life being a parkour guy for sure.
So this the only way to pull this off is with 360 cameras too, though, right? Because like if you're kind of constantly looking forward and back and avoiding things like you can't really, or do you do it with other camera setups?
You film it on a DSLR, right?
I don't film. Yeah. I didn't film any of the runners on a 360 camera.
So it's
They're
like
all on a Sony camera.
A Sony camera, but with
it's like a wide angle lens. So like
and
sometimes
you do like
16 or whatever, 16 mil or just whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then you just crop in. So like if you're a little farther away from the subject and you're shooting in 4K and the end deliverable is in 1080, you actually have quite a bit of wiggle room to reframe it.
Got you.
And then I was like head tracking and stabilizing too.
And it's because it's vertical. Do you shoot in horizontal and then crop to vertical, or
no? I give a lot of shit to anyone that shoots it. I think shooting
in the full resolution.
Full resolution going that way. Yeah,
I do personally believe that if your aim is to go for socials, that shooting in horizontal is a big mistake.
Okay.
And cropping later is it's going to make the vertical content suffer. And if anything's going to suffer, it's going to be the horizontal deliverable. So, you can crop in later for horizontal because they're always say like, oh, shoot it horizontal and crop in later for vertical. I'm like, no. You shoot it vertical and you crop for horizontal. So if you want two deliverables, let the horizontal one suffer.
Yeah, this camera I just got opinion. Over there, the GH7, it shoots like full gate, so you kind of get like a square. Yeah, open gate, so you get like a square. So
yes,
I was thinking about trying a visualizer with that because you can kind of get a little bit of both.
Right. But that's actually a new thing. I think that's different.
Yeah, it's open not gate. Much as a crop, but it's a little bit better. The Micro Four Thirds, they always do it, but I had another point I wanted to make. Like, so when that was blowing up, because like you did so many runners, and I feel like it was just this crazy trend that kept going on. But I think the coolest thing was, one, they were tagging you, which was cool. Like there was a point like where they had you tagged in the TikTok, but the comments were crazy because like I feel like I haven't seen like a camera operator or videographer get that much credit within like the comments. Like everyone's like, oh, like they wanted to know who was behind. You know what I mean? This person running, they're like, I feel like everyone was speculating how it was filmed too.
Right,
like, people thought it was 360, thought it was FPV. They thought like there was so much
I was shocked.
to it.
I was shocked that anyone gave a shit about who was filming. Because like, in film, people are like, who's the director? In TV shows, like, who made the TV? And like they get Emmys, awards. But if you watch an amazing video filmed on TikTok, it's not very uncommon to have nobody credited, nobody given credit, who filmed it, no tag, there's no credits. Like in music videos, there's always a big credit list, who's the PA even, like who's the editor, who's the colorist, who's the first AD. So Flyana Boss was the first group that, without even asking, they were tagging me and giving me credit, and they kind of restored my faith in the music industry, because I kind of thought I was like, there's just, the music industry is just full of people that have no desire to build or be friendly or, give credit and be helpful and kind for people that are putting into work. But they were doing that without me even asking, and they were tagging in every single one. Yeah. So it was amazing. Like I love those girls so much, and they just really were so kind to include me in that, because you don't have to, and we didn't really I didn't make that part of a contract or anything. And so they were tagging everyone, and people were trying to figure out how was it even done. And then so at first we saw that was a thing as another part of the story. So then we came up with an idea to have a videographer reveal. And I don't know if you saw that video, but we had an actress from Abbott Elementary pretend that she was the one filming it. It was fun. It was a funny idea. So
Gotcha.
So that was kind of part of it. And then eventually they revealed. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
And what point did the branding, the Dr. Clips, did you have that name before?
Just for fun. I refuse not to have fun while I'm out there filming, because it's this whole creative thing is just all a big game and a big joke. So I'd call myself, Pocket Spielberg, Tiny Tarantino, the Camp Counselor content, the short form Scorsese, Flick Rubin, all types of names. And then eventually I started calling myself also Dr. Clips. And out of all the things I called myself, I think it was Flyana and other people, they started calling me Dr. Clips, just in the text thread. And I was like, oh, something funny about Dr. Clips. And then my roommate was made me a t-shirt for my birthday, which had medical stuff on it. Nice. And my dad's always wanted me to be a doctor. It's his literally lifelong dream. And I was there was just no shot I was ever going to be a doctor. So I just kind of went for it. And then in one of the videos I put on the Scrubs, I was like, this does feel good. And it's you kind of it makes you seem official. Yeah, it makes everything you say seem there's merit to it, and people like it. It's just fun. Yeah. It's just fun to kind of brand yourself. So sometimes I'll use it in meetings if someone's feeling anxious or nervous about a pitch meeting, or they're not sure if you can pull it off. I'll be like, listen, it's okay. I'm Dr. Clips. We can do this. Yeah. And they go, oh, okay. And I'm like, wow, this is you literally just say a nickname I made up, and now they're trusting me. So yeah, it's fun. And I definitely want to keep exploring and maybe do some more skits with it. But that's how it came about. So I kind of gave myself the nickname. Nice. Which I don't know, is probably less cool than
No, that's cool. I mean, if it sticks, I think it works.
But
if it doesn't stick,
I like that you're going with it. You got the Scrubs, you got the stethoscope, and you go on your page and you have the first couple is right, the whole thing. So
because my entire socials is based on other people's faces. So most people have no idea. I'm almost always behind the camera. So. Yeah. I feel it's so important if you're a videographer to have a video pinned on your page where it's an introductory video of who you are, what you do, and have that be, because people have no idea what you look like. And even if you don't want to be the center of attention, I just think it's important that people know there's a human being behind it, especially if you're not some huge corporation or corporate entity. It's actually just me making all these. I don't have a team. I don't hire out editors. Everything you see is what I've made.
Yeah. I was going to say it's crazy too. Full circle, the music video for the song that blew up by Flyana Boss was filmed on the LED wall here.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was filmed here.
Amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they had the skyscrapers and all that.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay.
The DoorDash plug and all that.
Yeah, the DoorDash. Yeah. I saw that one. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, but so as far as editing, how long are the shoots roughly, and then what's post-production looking like? How long's that taking? Because I feel the post-production is the amount of rotoscoping you're doing. Some of these are insane, just the layers of effects if you really watch it. And
right.
So what's kind of the time differences on those?
It just kind of depends what the artist wants. Some artists want it incredibly clean with just nice camera movement and nice coloring, and that's what they want as the final. Some artists are I need you to go absolutely insane and give me as many effects as possible. Generally, hip hop artists are a lot more accepting of a shit ton of effects versus maybe more straight ahead pop artists. They just want it very clean. So that's a big difference in editing time, as you know.
Yeah.
Anything involving rotoscoping will take maybe twice as long, 3 times as long. A shoot will usually take about 4 hours or so. And then each clip, depending on, how many effects, could take 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, just for one, 15-second video. Could take even longer. I mean, I did a skit with Flyana Boss. It took me like 10 hours, 15 hours to edit, but it was like a skit with speaking and then into a runner with them at a lemonade stand. So it's just totally dependent. And it's also about like, you know, my caffeine intake of that day, how locked in I am. Because I'm making a lot of them. So I've gotten pretty fast with Resolve, and I'm just, you know, you got to get your keyboard shortcuts just like the tattooed in your brain, because if you don't have your keyboard shortcuts, you're clicking, like the less clicks, the better. You know, you got to be quick you got to be like attached to the computer like a cyborg.
Wait, do you do all the effects in Resolve too?
Yeah, I do 100% of the editing in Resolve.
Whoa,
I don't use After Effects at all.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, I thought you used After Effects.
No.
So it's like you're using like the Magic Roto.
Magic Mask in Resolve.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I've been using
and the Fusion Page.
Yeah.
Fusion Page was extremely difficult.
It's hard to get,
learn.
Yeah, with the nodes. And
really
stuff.
big learning curve. Like even just like overlaying stuff, and it's still.
Like the most basic stuff, you have to like do like 5 different notes and try to like figure out.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's got a steep learning curve. I would not say it's a very user-friendly program, but I mean, once you get the hang of it, it's pretty good, and it pretty much does identical things as After Effects. But I do envy After Effects in the way that they still are a layer-based.
Yeah.
There's not really layers with Fusion, so like if you want effects that come in and out, they have like a keyframes panel that has like the layers, but it's kind of glitchy, doesn't work that well. So you end up having to do a workaround like in the timeline page, like having to like lay things out and then bring it into Fusion, which is kind of a pain in the ass. So sometimes I see effect like edits and I'm like, oh man, like if I didn't have layers, I don't think I could ever try to recreate that. And it's also a lot different for speed ramping, which is like a huge thing in After Effects. Like I'm sure you guys see all the amazing car edits and all that. It's all done by like those like crazy Jerry Media and D2 shots. Speed ramping is weird in Resolve because in Fusion. Okay. They have a way to do the exact same thing. Yeah. With the time remapping, with the curves and everything. So I'm still kind of getting my feet wet in the speed ramping realm. It's tougher for me because with music you need a lip sync. Yeah. It's easy to film a car. Yeah. There's no lip sync.
Yeah. I've tried to do clips like just like edits with like the speed ramping, like more advanced stuff, like where you're just like exiting out of a clip, but like to try and sync back up, it's a little crazy
with the lip sync.
Yeah, it's
I've actually like in my head thought about it, like could I like edit a song where where I actually make the song slower and faster in certain parts, and then but it's like it's not really something that is very easy or that I found yet.
I feel like I tried it once. I tried literally editing the song and like lip syncing in my bedroom, and I couldn't do it. Like I was like trying to move the camera, you know, like basically trying to like do like the bolt arm effect in a sense, like because if you speed ramp to the next thing and you had the song, or if there was like a break in the song, and then you could just
right. I mean, if you're doing a transition like an in or out thing, it's one thing, but I was trying speed ramping on one takes. So like let's say there was a section where they're dancing and then get back into singing, I'd be kind of boomeranging it and then I'd eventually bring it back to normal speed. And sometimes it look good, sometimes not, because you know speed ramping, like the more subtle and it looks more smooth, versus if you take it too far, it's all jittery. So I mean that's still something that I'm trying to get into, but mostly it's the one take thing for me, man. I really love one takes. You can't fake it, and I'm usually getting a pretty good performance in camera. So that's been a big thing for me that I feel like I've kind of definitely hammered in a lot of my work is no cuts, and having a one take performance video that's really well blocked out, really well choreographed with a simple choreography, and blocking has been, effective for me.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate like watching your clips, because I feel like you're also capturing a really good location. You're revealing things, but there's just a lot to it, and the retention is there. You're always swapping angles. Like you're not showing the same angle multiple times. I don't think I've ever seen just like a tripod shot either, like something.
Not
like that.
really.
Yeah,
so I get extremely bored. So like I started with cinematic filmmaking just like anybody, and I was like, how can I make it look like a movie? I feel like when anyone starts filmmaking, they're like, how do I make it look, professional or cinematic? And like you like zoom into 75 millimeter at f2.8 and like you get an ND filter and you're like, oh my fucking God, I'm fucking Steven Spielberg. Look at that blur. I'm incredible. Because and then I just got so bored of that. I was like, how many ways is there to just like film a scene, film on the shadow side, and like so you can have the depth in the image and just like that kind of stuff. So then I realized I was like, I saw the Kendrick Lamar video for Damn. Oh, this would be a good cutaway for the clip. So I saw the Kendrick Lamar video for Damn, and there's a very certain scene. No, for Humble. I saw the Kendrick Lamar video for Humble, there's a certain scene where he's standing under a bridge and there's a motion control camera. I'm not sure you remember. He's wearing glasses and
that's like a pretty iconic robot.
Really iconic robot arm. And when I saw that, I was like, that is the sickest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I was, on a mission to recreate that for a long time. And at first it was the pole, and then I was able to get good enough with the gimbal that I could do it in real time, spontaneously, first try.
Oh, wow.
And keep it in focus, and then keyframe it later, to perfect it. But, it's like if I was filming this podcast of you sitting there performing your song, like I would want every single angle.
Yeah.
So like why just get one angle? Get literally every single possible angle that looks good. So the low angle, the high angle, the left angle, the right angle, the close up, the wide, and then like run away at the end and run in at the beginning. And then by the time the take's over, I'm usually like I'm literally sweating. Like, so I feel like, I brought a little bit of athleticism to the camera game a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because remember that clip that went viral of that guy filming that basketball movie wearing like rollerblades?
Oh, yeah, that thing's crazy.
Everybody loves to see an athletic cameraman, I feel like,
for sure.
So,
getting the cardio in on your
getting the cardio in instead of just being a tripod. So I encourage everybody, man, keep the camera moving.
Yeah. I've seen you shoot in some pretty crazy places. I mean, even just like some locations are like, like a store, just like these different areas. What are some of your tips to like being able to like, run a gun and shoot in some of these locations where you may get kicked out of? Are you doing these run a gun? Are you getting permission, or how's that kind of?
So this is legally not a good idea for me to speak on, but I'm gonna speak on it anyway. No, in LA, it's notoriously extremely hard to get permits to shoot anywhere. If you want to shoot in a grocery store or a mall, but I'm not there to hurt anybody. I'm not there to ruin any of the merchandise. I just want a performance clip, and then I get out. So for most of the time, I'm just simply walking in and just doing it in one take and then leaving. Mm-hmm. And if it didn't work, I'll go to another one. If it didn't work, I'll go to another one. So I will get that clip.
Just one, and then
just one. But sometimes people don't care. I've noticed the more depressed the employees, the less they care. So if you ever go to like a grocery store, like a Kmart or a Walmart or anywhere really, and you notice the employees just seem really depressed, it's a great place to film. I guarantee. Like they'll literally look at you, and they'll just keep going because they're just like, I don't care, man.
I'm not getting paid enough for this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like so, like that's the
the
vibe.
look you're going for. Like
the security guards that like care way too much about their job. I'm like, bro, like I'm not like hurting anybody. We're just literally filming a TikTok, and it's like a 15-second video. Like relax. Like you're not curing cancer here. Yeah, so usually I'll just run in there and just run out. Or just get the clip, and then I'll go out and I'll do it one take. Because if you ever ask for permission, they're going to say no.
Yeah. I feel like it's security guards at parking garages are like the meanest.
Yes. They take their job far too seriously. It's totally okay.
It's a
everything's
big
okay.
concrete building, man.
Everything's going to be fine. It's like no less. I probably it's more dangerous to be driving on the highway than to be filming a clip, like just walking around to Rite Aid. But, it's definitely a thrill, though.
Yeah.
Filming in public is definitely an acquired taste. When I first started doing with artists, they were pretty nervous to do it, but you get used to it. You just got to turn off your give a fuck. You're just like, whatever. Let them look at me like I'm a weirdo.
What about some of these bigger artists like Bebe Rexha or like the one you did with like Glorilla? Are you renting locations for some of those, or how does that kind of work?
With the Glorilla shoot, it was definitely not as small of a team. I mean, she pulled up with maybe 30 people to our shoot. And, like I'm not having communication with her directly. I'm just like talking to her team. Vincenza from her team I was talking to, but they pulled up in a couple sprinters full of outfits, and they have a security team and everything. So I was talking to her security detail named Tank, and just going over, hey, this is what I was thinking of doing, just like walking down the street here. And we were filming it maybe in front of this taco shop, or at this mercado, this Spanish market, and just running it by him. And so generally, if someone's famous, they'll generally have security or a bodyguard that's in charge of their safety, and then you have to kind of communicate your idea to them, and they have to make sure it's cleared, even if it is run and gun, and we're not because we're not gonna go in there and blow things up or swipe bananas off the shelves, but they're it's more sensitive because they're famous. So with Glow, we just I had this guy Tank. He was huge. He was probably 350 pounds and 6'6". So I'd be like, hey, Tank, would you mind going in there and just asking if it's okay if we shoot in there?
Just send in the most intimidating
And so
guy.
Tank would go in there and be like, yeah, it's fine. Go ahead. And I was like, oh, wow. I was like, I should take this guy everywhere.
Yeah, right?
Well, because normally I wouldn't ask because people aren't physically intimidated by me. So they'll just say no. But with him, it was amazing. So I had like a person, for the Glorilla shoot, I had a personal liaison to ask.
Nice.
So the video that got posted, I'm not sure if they're going to post more from our shoot, but we shot at a laundromat. So Tank went in there and was like, he's like, yo, man, you're good. And I was like, great. So we went in there, we knocked out a shot where we had her take a bunch of money out of a laundry machine for her song, Yeah, Glow. Super fun. And, you know, she's just knocks it out first try, like, you know what I mean? And yeah, so that's generally how it goes with like more kind of famous people.
Gotcha.
A little bit of security detail.
Yeah.
You know.
But for your side, it's still the same. It's just you. But they just have like a stylist and bodyguard and all this whole team and stuff.
Yeah, so for pretty much like 99% of the shoots, sometimes I'll have someone with a bounce. You know, that's nice.
Sure.
I'll take that. But generally, I don't feel like it's necessary because some of my, like, you know, I learned very quickly that in music that if you have extremely professional, soft, beautiful, triple diffused lighting, no one cares. Versus if you want to shoot out at high noon with the sun extremely overhead with raccoon eyes, everything totally incorrect. Your shutter speed at the wrong, like everything's just incorrect. Like nobody cares. Like it's just all about like the performance, the vibe, the passerbyers. So once I learned that, I was like, oh, like if I can let go of the professionalism and just lean into the fun of this and the performance of it, then it doesn't matter. So I have a really good sense of, you know, this, how to use the sun to shoot and then how to capture an image that I can color grade or save. And, you know, with today's, you can shoot with any camera 10 days in 10-bit and really recover a lot. So like, I'll try not to blow out or underexpose too much. I'll get the exposure in a decent place. And I'll generally be adjusting my aperture in the middle of the shot as I'm filming. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because a lot of times they're walking from extremely harsh, bright sun directly into an extreme shadow. So then, like, let's say I'm starting the shot at like F16, I have my wheel set to you know, aperture. So like as they're walking into the shadow spot, I'll bring it down to like F4 or something and like brighten it up just manually as I'm shooting while I'm walking backwards. So while I'm also triggering the audio and while I'm also sometimes holding like a tube light. So like I'm doing a lot at once.
Yeah, that's
and,
even
and while
crazy
I'm
that
also
you do
directing it.
playback.
That's very nuts.
Yeah, I prefer to do playback because when you do playback, you control the pace of the shoot versus if you give someone else the ability to do playback. It's like,
yeah, you're
I'm
trying
like,
to find them.
I'm
Like,
hello.
hey, where'd you go?
They're trying to find it. They don't know the audio section. They're not paying attention.
Yeah.
So if you control the music, you control the shoot. Because artists will be like so ADD, but the second you play their music, they're like they're locked in.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important for me to control playback. So I just like clip a little speaker to my belt.
Oh, it's on you.
Yeah,
Oh, because
so-
I guess it has to be. You're running, right?
Yeah, so
Sometimes,
I've tried like every single portable speaker. Tried a boom swimmer. I tried the JBL clip. I've tried a bunch, but the Bose Micro SoundLink is my favorite clip-on speaker because it has a flat lay and it just doesn't jangle. So you can like put it on your belt and it's like kind of flat and flush.
Okay.
And it just always stays connected and it's just, you turn it on, it just connects. It's just something about it is real easy.
Nice.
So that's the one I recommend.
Little Bose
Damn.
plug.
Little Bose,
check
I'm not
it out.
sponsored, but they want to sponsor me. I'll
should
take
get
it.
sponsored.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Bose, where are you at?
Hey, real quick. Didn't know if you knew this, but CinePacks actually has 3 studio locations in Los Angeles. If you're a filmmaker, photographer, and you're looking for a studio space, look no further. CinePacks is here. We have one location in South LA that has multiple music video sets, has a small LED wall. We have an entire vintage house in East Hollywood. We have a large LED wall studio in North Hollywood as well, with tons of standing sets. You can check out the studios at cinepackstudios.com or check us out on Instagram at CinePacks Studios. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Yeah, what is your setup kind of like? Like your camera, gimbal, light, like what have you found that works for you?
I'll usually use like tube lighting that I hold. So like, you know, aperture or nan light tube lighting that I hold. Any size will be fine, but usually smaller. And then I'll usually rock with the DJI RS3 Mini. That's the gimbal that I like. Just the lighter, the better. You know, like I'm not like super strong or whatever. There was a time I was like, you know, before I got into vertical, I was like, yo, I'm going to use a Triton. You ever see the Triton? It's like kind of like a fake Steadicam. It's like 4 mirrorless cameras, but it's like a fake Steadicam. But I've learned over the years that unless you're trying to impress a corporate client that wants to look at your big shiny hunks of metal, it doesn't matter, and the result's the only thing that matters. And if you could look someone in the eye and have a great idea, like they'll accept that your camera package is tiny with stickers on it, you know? So I try to put stickers on my camera, you know, I have little stickers on it to make it look like a piece of shit camera. So when someone sees it, it looks like a piece of shit. And it's like, whatever. So I use the ZV-E1, that's the camera of choice. It's the exact same image as the FX3, FX6, A7S III, but it has better autofocus than A7S III. Because it could still hold on to the back of someone's head. Like before, when I was shooting the A7S III, it had great autofocus, but the second you went for an orbit shot, it would lose track because it didn't know how to recognize a body or the back of someone's head. But the ZV-E1 has that, so it's really good for autofocus. Because I rely solely on autofocus. Like I can't have no second AD running alongside with me pulling focus. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then for lenses, I shoot with everything, all the way from like 16 to 35s. For like my more wide angle, like Dr. Clip style, you know, down to like 13 millimeter sometimes, like a fisheye lens. I've also shot like videos that have done well with like a 90 millimeter Sony G lens, 90 millimeter that I've used. I've also used the Tamron 35 to 150 to get some like cool ones where like I'm doing manual zooms on the beat. Because I got that for live shows, which is pretty cool. So that one's crazy. It's fucking huge. It's like this big. Let's see, any other lenses that I'm trying to pick up on? Yeah, so that's mostly kind of my package, something like that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, what about y'all? What are you guys shooting at?
This guy's got
I
big
think
cameras.
we honestly have I mean, for this we're
The
doing
Lumix.
Lumix, which I've always been a big fan of. I had a GH1, GH2,
Yeah.
like the whole line.
It's what I made like all the CinePacks on. Like the GH5, I used like the stop animation feature, and that's how I've made like half of our packs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
dude. That's amazing.
So we did. Yeah, I've used like those cameras, and then I used to shoot music videos on them, and then Lumix actually sent me the GH7 that they just dropped to check out.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the one with the light over there.
Okay. Okay.
Pretty
Yo,
sick.
I want to shout out CinePacks because I very first discovered CinePacks very early on when I started editing. So like I didn't really use cameras until 2020 about. Like before that I didn't really know how to use a camera. So I picked it up pretty quick. And I was, you know, just a new editor, and I was just like looking for I Googled like overlay packs. So, like I was like, I didn't even know what a fucking overlay was. And then I got I think it was the Paint Effects pack, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. I just put it on everything. I was like, put it on.
Yeah, we got a train.
Whoa. Is that overhead?
No, it's
a train.
To the side. It's to the side.
yeah.
Whoa.
We're next to a train
That
station.
is fucking terrifying. I got the Paint Effects. I got the Film Matte Effects. I got the 8 millimeter overlay packs.
Oh, nice.
I've used so many of the packs when I was first early on just to get like any kind of sauce, and I still love the Paint Effects. You know, sometimes I'll use it as like a background. So hey man, shout out to
Sick.
CinePacks for
That's
making
sick.
some of the best overlays out there,
appreciate
bro.
the support,
They're
dude.
very easy. Very easy
Appreciate
for
it,
someone
yeah.
starting just because it's hard to get some sauce, you know, when you
Yeah.
first start.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, this guy over here, he's made some of our DaVinci packs. I got to send you some of those.
Oh, really?
I didn't know you edited in DaVinci.
Yeah.
So I'll send you. We have a couple DaVinci packs. I'll
Yeah,
let you check
I'm a
them out.
massive Premiere Pro hater.
That's
I think it's the
I've
pain of
switched.
my
I've
existence.
switched as well.
It has stolen so many hours of my life. It has crashed, and I haven't been able to recover files. Media has been offline, unexplainably. By the end of a large, heavy project, it would just start to bog down and freak out and start to glitch unexplainably. And I hate that program so fucking much. It works great. It's just it's just not stable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, sorry to any that you.
No, I'm stuck on it, but yeah.
I switched it to Resolve years
man.
ago, but I
man.
can't do Fusion though. Fusion's
Fusion's a pain in the ass.
I use After Effects. I have to stick with After Effects.
After Effects is
for effects
fucking
and stuff.
great.
Yeah, it
I
is.
actually have good things to say about After Effects.
Yeah.
I'm just a Adobe Premiere Pro hater, which is kind of unfortunate because is it really a dynamic link? You have to right click, open up a new program, then it comes back and it plays so slow you have to render it out anyway. You call that a dynamic link?
Yeah, that's true.
not really
Yeah,
a dynamic link.
Yeah.
You should see Fusion.
I never dynamic link.
Because you hop into Fusion and you go right back edit page and it actually is.
Yeah.
No, that's
It's
a
in there.
dynamic. It's literally done. It actually plays, which is pretty crazy. So, yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
Black Magic plug.
Yeah, Black
Black
Magic.
Magic plug.
I love, and the Resolve updates are amazing. Like when they updates, they're actually like,
There's some good stuff in
whoa,
there.
like someone's really cares about this program
Yeah.
and is putting a lot of effort. So
Yeah.
sorry to trash your.
It's all right.
track
It's all right. We got
No,
good
no.
captions at least.
Actually, yes.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
captions.
yeah.
I think the captions are still much better.
Yeah.
That's something because I actually don't offer any caption work for any of my work.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to ask, because that is a lot of work, especially if you don't have the SRT file for the song.
Right, and then also with the spellings, like with hip hop and like
Yeah,
you know,
it's
like
crazy.
who knows how to spell some of these? I don't even know what some of these words are. I can't understand what they're saying sometimes.
Yeah.
Also, with I work with Spanish artists. I don't know Spanish.
So do you sometimes outsource for that if they do want the captions, or how does that work?
I leave it to them and their team. Like I'm usually working with them team. I'm just like, here is a fully ready to post video. This is ready to post right now, and I would encourage you guys to put captions on it, however you want to do it. So if they want to do it on CapCut, if they want to do it in app, I would encourage them to do that. And
So they're throwing the captions on themselves.
yeah.
Oh.
CapCut's not bad. I mean,
CapCut's really good.
Yeah, it's pretty
Sometimes
good.
It's scary how good it is.
I've done some of the AI ones too, and even for music, it automatically got like majority
Really?
of the spelling. Yeah,
For what?
I did.
That's
For
pretty good.
CapCut, you did that?
No, it wasn't CapCut. It was just some like AI caption. It was like one of the popular ones that I
Okay.
searched, and like it just had like all the animated emojis and stuff too, and it got like
Really?
maybe like 70% of
And
like
you did it on the phone or computer?
I did it on the computer.
Okay.
But I think you do it on your phone too. But I tried a few of them out because this artist wanted a caption, so I just want to see what it did.
Right.
And then yeah, because like Premiere, it can't get songs at all.
No.
Like yeah, it's
no.
bad.
Yeah, it's good for like multicam interviews, but
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of editing multicam interviews. It's painful. Sorry to whoever is editing.
Damn, I was gonna ask you to edit this.
Whoever
one.
has to edit this podcast, I just want to let you know you are loved, you are important, you
He's
are
right
special.
there. He's right there.
I know you're sitting there like 4 cups of coffee deep behind the computer. Your eyes hurt, your wrists hurt, your fingers are tired. You've been editing this, and then you're gonna give it to Tyler. He's gonna have a bunch of notes. I mean, this fucking guy has all these notes. So I just want to let you know that as the editor, you are the GOAT of this episode.
They got the Autopod now, though. Have you seen that?
It looks
Yeah.
scary good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
do you
I
guys
mean,
edit with Autopod?
I think that's what we're going to try on this one, because
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it just
We'll see.
assigns each speaker, and then once it hears you talk, it's going to cut to that
Like
camera,
this camera.
and then when it hears me talk, it's going to cut to that camera, and vice versa. So I think that's kind of the move.
Yeah.
But I still feel like you have to watch it to go find the clips, because the clips are
Because the clips,
you know,
it's so subjective. Like, what do people care about?
Yeah.
Like me talking about.
yeah. So you
Yeah.
have to find that.
I mean, yeah, you guys are gonna do 5 podcasts today. So this is when AI is amazing. Like the fact that it's gonna be helping to edit a podcast that nobody wants to edit anyway.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
saw a quote like, "I want AI to do my dishes
Yeah.
and make my bed so I can go make art. Like I don't
Yeah.
want AI to make my art."
Exactly.
Yeah.
exactly.
AI is making art instead of doing the things we don't want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what do you guys think when that it was like Luma AI or something dropped that? It was
Sora?
like
Was
yeah,
that-
Sora,
was it Sora? Yeah.
and it was like astronaut on Mars, and the video was just it was like looked like an actual movie. It was amazing.
It's pretty crazy. It's scary, but I mean, it's also kind of exciting. Like people who know how to utilize it. I mean, there's like a short film that someone did with it.
Any good? Did you watch it?
I watched it. It was like someone
The
with a balloon face
Yeah,
or something.
They were saying that wasn't. They were saying that had a lot of intervention though.
No, they
It-
definitely had to.
Yeah, because it was AI, but then
But it
they
was
said,
like a lot of like reprompting and like
Yeah.
kind of like mixing and matching different clips
Gotcha.
together to like
Right.
to make
right.
it
So like
to have a
semi-manual.
to have a cohesive storyline, but also then they did the voiceover over it. So there's still tons of like work, like human work that went into
Yeah.
it, I think.
Yeah.
But
It was
I don't
crazy.
know. It's interesting. There's so much AI hate. Like
Yeah. I mean,
It's-
for a drone, I feel bad for drone pilots because I feel like that's the first thing that's the easiest to like.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, try to get Glorilla walking through a laundromat on AI singing her brand new
Yeah,
single.
right.
That's
You
going to
can't-
be
you
hard.
can't
But
do
like
that.
get like a drone shot of trees from above, like with AI, it's
especially
probably easier.
so. I sell on a website called Black Box that sells stock footage, and now they've started leveraging like these stock footage companies have been leveraging their libraries to AI.
So they're selling it. They're like, it's
yeah,
gonna happen
and I
anyway.
got like a small percentage, like some of your clips were used in
For,
like
like,
this
learning,
engine, yeah, for
yeah.
learning. So that's
Oh.
kind of interesting because
Okay.
yeah, there's already like if you think about all the stock footage out there, like they could just feed that into
Yeah.
so
that's
it's
probably the
pretty
first
crazy.
first stuff to go is the stock footage.
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah, 'cause
I
you could-
think about it,
Yeah.
because like let's say like I don't know if it's gonna come the day where like all the editing style and the work I put in, someone could just like film their clip with an iPhone and be like, do it Dr. Clip style, and press enter, and it would just do it, and I'd be like, whoa, because like if
Yeah.
I was a musician and I wasn't, it's
Yeah.
expensive, people are gonna go broke. So I would really that scares me.
But it's also, I mean, it pushes people to be more creative to like try to beat that stuff as well. I think, right? It's
like
not-
if you
like,
put enough human in it, like
Yeah.
then like you can't AI it. Like
by the time AI, like the machine learning learns how to do your style would be like, you'd be like years.
I probably
like
hopefully
farther,
do something
right?
else.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'd be running through a grocery store. I do wonder that because like I'm not that old. I'm like 32, but I was like, am I gonna be like running through grocery stores and I'm 42? Like
that'd be sick.
I don't know.
Just get it's a good way to exercise.
I'll still be down. Like my parents are 70. Like they show no signs of slowing. Like they were still active as hell, like hiking and athletic. Playing pickleball. So. Hey, I might still be doing it. Running videos at 70. I'm down. Let's go for it.
So what are you working on now? Is there anything new that you've been working on? I see you post some of a few clips of like your own music as well. So what are we kind of seeing in the future with Dr. Clips coming up?
Music is definitely my like base passion. That's how I even got into the film world in the first place, and songwriting in particular. So what people probably don't know about me is that I was, pursuing songwriting, production, and artistry for about like 8 years in LA before I ever even learned how to use a camera or touch it. So I had no idea that I'd ever be at CinePacks Studios talking about like editing. Like I'm as shocked as anybody else that like I'm seen as like some editor guy and some video guy when I never identified as that. So it's still a relatively new identity. So I still have a deep love for songwriting and music in general. So I think that I'm not like people are asking if I want to do more long form narrative stuff, but like the idea of like writing scripts and like having actors deliver lines isn't like super like thrilling to me. I'll watch TV and movies like everyone else, but like the idea of getting back into songwriting is exciting. So I'm gonna continue to start putting out some music of my own, and I think a goal of mine would be just like I've helped other artists get a trending audio or get a song to go. If I had a song that I could also write that also went, I would be stoked. Because then I feel like I'd be kind of a flex if I was like one of these videographers / songwriters, which is not a category you hear often. So I was like, all right, if I can be the top in the songwriter / videographer category, which is crazy. So that, or I think if there was a long form thing that I'd be into, it'd be like more long form music video, or let's say it's like if there is narrative stuff like and a song is blown up already with a short form, I could see myself really enjoying making a long form music video that employs some narrative aspects and like skit style stuff, but then goes back into the song. So generally most of the stuff I do, at least right now, that I'm interested in is in service of someone's song or in service of music. That and maybe some deep dives. So I love watching like deep dives on people that are problematic, like cult and just like cult stuff and just people that are canceled. So you guys better be careful because I'll do a deep dive on.
All right.
Yeah.
You got a favorite like cult story?
Oh man, I've been into the 7M dance TikTok cult with Shekinah Church in LA. You guys hear about this?
My wife was trying to make me watch it, but I didn't watch it.
Your wife's trying to make you watch it? It's absolutely.
It was on Netflix, right?
Yes, it's astounding. I think cults are the most astounding thing
It's pretty
ever,
interesting stuff for sure.
because it's just this like isolated community, and there's some random creepazoid just makes all these rules, and it's usually just some dude trying to get laid and trying to get rich. It's like almost every single time, but he's always like a prophet or a god or something like that. So the 7M, and then they had a management company and a church all in one for dancers. So that was kind of the weird part about this thing. And it's absolutely insane fucking story. So you watch a lot of cult stuff? No?
I used to listen to a ton of like true crime podcasts and stuff like that. Yeah. So I know like a ton of stuff about just general, more like the stuff from like the 70s, 80s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like LA is actually like it's a weird like hub of like, I don't know, it's like attracts like that type of behavior. I mean, like Scientologists are still like
spiritual narcissists is the type of people that
it's kind of crazy.
You gotta look out. I feel like anyone who's online that is kind of peddling like a spiritual like I'm like super kind and giving and like one with the universe, and then you meet them in person, they're usually not very nice. And like I was like, whoa. And the people that are kind of like dicks online, that's their persona. You meet them in person, you're like, oh, we're nice guy. Which is crazy. So what about what are you guys gonna do next with CinePacks? What's next? A little CinePacks movie coming soon?
Not. I mean, right now we're kind of focusing on this podcast. We're gonna try to do more like educational content and just kind of, do more like just kind of give back to the community and stuff, you know. So we're shooting some educational series on our YouTube channel that's going to be like teaching how to light sets and shoot and stuff like that with like guest cinematographers and filmmakers and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. We have a lot of like things like that in the horizon. Yeah.
They're shooting the over there right now. So yeah, we have this cool series that we're starting. That's kind of been what we've been focusing on right now, and just maintaining the studios.
How many studios you guys have now?
We have 3. So we have this one. We have the. I don't know if you ever saw the other one. It's a vintage house now. It has a porch. You definitely got to check it out. I can see some clips there.
Was it the one that used to have a tree in it?
Yeah. So now it's just a house.
Yeah. I've shot there twice.
Have you shot there as a house now or no?
I shot there when the tree was in there, and I shot since the tree has gone. Yeah, I used that tool shed in the back for like a little murder clip for a Sophie Powers like record where like she had someone like taped up and she was like holding the shovel and all. Like,
is that out yet or no?
It came out for a while. She did a song with an artist named Psycho. We use that tool shed. Yeah, I love that. It has that cool vintage kitchen, a little bit yellow vibe. Yeah. I love that. It's like it's a scary looking house.
Yeah.
It has a vibe to it, that vintage old vibe. Yeah. You guys crush it with the sets. So
appreciate it.
Major shout out to you guys for making these cool looking places.
Thanks. Yeah. And then we have a third one. It has like a laser. It had our first LED ball that's like similar to this size, 10 feet by 10 feet. And then we just put like the grid ceiling in there, and it has an elevator set too.
Oh, okay.
That's probably the newest upgraded set.
It has like a laser ceilings.
It has a laser that shoots down that you can put fog or smoke.
Fog to get the volumetric laser look.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love that, man.
Yeah.
Is there another studio about to pop up? Number 4?
We're in talks, but
What's next? Underwater. What about the underwater?
Underwater would be sick.
Yeah. So that's something I've been trying to.
I think I saw that.
Pioneer. So that's been my latest videography like obsession to try to get into. Is that so? I got into underwater housing and I started going a deep dive on YouTube. Like, how the fuck do I do this? I have no one teaching me, no one mentoring me. I'm just on YouTube like anyone else. And I found the Sea Frogs package. I put my A7S III in there, my 16 to 35. And then I got 2 Orca Torch flashlights on either side of the case, and I've been shooting inside my pool, and it's actually been working. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna do long take, 1 takes, underwater with a lip sync, right? Because most times when you see underwater shots in music videos or television, it's like this 3-second slow motion clip of someone falling in the water, and like that's literally it.
And they spend like half the day or like a whole day doing that one shot,
and that's it. Like there's no lip sync, right? So I did it with a couple artists. I got some more coming, and I just kind of started that journey. But it is so much fun. You guys have to try filming underwater. So hey,
have you thought about doing a 1 take where you're like doing a runner and then you jump into
the water?
Yeah.
So I've already done something like that where someone walks into the water, but I haven't done a run and jump. I've done one off the diving board where I'm in the pool, like under the diving board, and they jump in and they come find them underwater. But it's so sick. But
so
most
you have
people
to find an artist who also like can hold their breath for a minute, right? A good amount of time.
They just need to do it for like 15 seconds.
Gotcha. What about playback though? Do you just have to have the music hella loud so they can?
No, so I had to look for an underwater speaker. I found one called the Turtle Box, used for fishing.
Turtle Box.
So I'll have someone to help do that. So they'll have the speaker above water, and then I have them face the speaker directly down into water at full volume.
Wow.
And you have to hold the phone very close to the speaker because it will lose connectivity. So then you can actually hear and lip sync underwater.
That's crazy.
And it's shot at 24 frames a second.
That's sick.
So it's actually normal playback, and they're performing. And I'm trying to do like a little bit Dr. Cliff's movements, but I kind of just kind of pray for that one. I'm just trying to keep them in frame, and I'm not like some like Olympic swimmer or anything, but I'm just in there trying. So yeah, that's really cool. And the split shots are really cool with that. I got like the 8-inch dome where you can kind of see the split shot where half underwater, half above water.
Yeah.
Those shots I think those are so cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, I haven't had one go absolutely crazy yet, but I'm still been trying some. I had an artist take a toaster down there and like make bread. Cause I was like, I had an artist take a full a real microphone down there. So I'm still experimenting with the water thing, but I think, with the right artist and the right song, I think it could absolutely become a trend.
Yeah.
I just haven't quite found it yet, so got to keep going with that one.
I like that.
So I encourage that for Studio 4, maybe have a tank.
A tank where you can run, actually.
Yeah, like an underwater take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, think about it.
Nice.
Figure that out.
Yeah. Cool. Is there anything else you want to plug? I think we're.
Anything else I want to plug?
Now's your time.
follow me on all socials, TikTok and Instagram at Dr. Clips. Just, look for Dr. Clips. If you see someone that has a video with my style, just be like, yo, Dr. Clips probably did this. And I probably did. And I love music. I love making art for the people. I love just, music so much and just being part of this whole thing. And I love CinePacks and everything they've done for the filmmaking community. So, yeah, just follow me on socials and, stay tuned.
Sick. Yeah, appreciate it.
All right.